Good Friday morning and welcome back to Strive Academy's virtual STEAM events. I'm super excited about today because I get to do another egg demonstration. If you remember last week we had 2 eggs. One was a raw egg, one was a hard-boiled egg. Today I have 2 raw eggs. And we spun them and looked at how they spun differently. How you can tell if it's raw or hard-boiled based on how it spins and how it stops. So I can promise you that these are both raw based on the fact that they're not spinning very well because of that friendly thing called inertia that we talked about last week. Today we're going to look at something super cool. We're going to look at how we can make an egg float. Okay, so that's what we are investigating today. So what you need today is just 2 see-through cups. They need to be relatively tall, and obviously it's cooler if you can see what's happening. You need water. I just put water in this cup. You need salt. You're going to need 4 tablespoons of salt. So you need a tablespoon and a spoon to stir. Ooh, got a bug flying around. And then, of course, 2 raw eggs. Okay, and we have 2 because we're going to demonstrate them side by side. So what you're going to do is fill in your title, which is Salty Science, and then we're going to answer the question for our hypothesis, how can we make an egg float? And based on the materials that we have, take your best guess. Okay, and then, I'll say it again. I know I say this every time. It's probably annoying, but don't just dive right into this. Come up with a plan. So sketch out a design, write out a design, draw and label what you're going to use, so that you don't go into this blind and you know what you are going to be doing. Saves you time, saves you materials. Okay, we're going to take our first glass and we're going to fill it about 3/4 of the way full with water. And we are going to put our first egg in and look what happens. It sinks. The egg sinks. Now you can try this over and over again with raw eggs, and they're going to sink every single time. So the question is, well, how can we get it to float? So what you're going to do is observe what the egg does. Under data collection and observations, you're going to draw what you see, which is, of course, that the egg floats. Then we're going to take our second cup. We're going to fill it about halfway up, and I might have to steal a little bit of water from the other one. And we are going to put in 4 tablespoons of salt. So now we're changing what we're putting the egg into. So the first time it was just water. Now we're making it not just salt water, but a very salty salt water. Okay, so we're going to take a few minutes and stir. It's probably too much salt to totally dissolve because we pretty much saturated it. Okay, but you're going to take a few minutes to stir. And then you're going to add some more water and almost fill the cup up. And I didn't get enough water, so I'm just going to steal some from this cup because that's just plain water. But you can still see that my egg in the first one has sunk. Okay. Now I'm going to put the egg in my saltwater solution, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make the same observation, and I'm going to draw or write what I see. So I'm going to carefully put it in, and can you see my egg floating? I know it's kind of cloudy over here, but if you look at the top, you can see the egg floating. Pretty cool, huh? So we made an egg that normally sinks float. So again, under data and observations, you're going to draw or write what you see, and under results, you're going to compare the 2 glasses. So there's some things that are very similar about the glasses. There's some things that are very different. So what are the similarities and differences? For our analysis questions today, it says, which egg sunk when added to the glass, and why do you think it sunk? So why do we think it sunk in that glass? Which egg was floating when added to the glass, and why do we think it was floating? And which material that we used today, out of all of our materials today, do we think determined if the egg would float or sink? So think about what the difference was between the 2 cups. If you like this and you're interested in doing some extensions, you can try some different variables. So you can change the liquids. You can see if this works in milk or vinegar or oil or soda. You can change the temperature. You could just do water and do warm and cold water. You could change what you dissolve in the water. So instead of salt, try sugar or powdered sugar or something like that. And this is all about density today. So remember, if things are more dense than the liquid that they're in, they're going to sink. And if things are less dense than the liquid that they're in, they're going to flow. And so what we want you to do for the extension today, if you're into density, do a little bit of research and describe to us how density affected this experiment. I'd love to hear your answers on Facebook. I'd also love to see your pictures. So put them on there, tag us with the hashtag STEAM with Strive. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back for our very last week of Strive Academy virtual videos, at least for now. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.